You already heard the narratives being set up for the finale of Week 16 on Christmas night between the Ravens and the Niners. Tirico and Collinsworth were already chopping that up as the Ravens were done chopping up the Jaguars, that this is for maybe a Super Bowl preview, that the team that's maybe best equipped to beat the Niners is coming into the Niners' house and the Ravens. You're already shaking your head no, and that the MVP is up for grabs too, whoever wins this game.
That's true. I think
Okay.
the MVP's kind of become like the Heisman, and we know, like, hey, most valuable player, different years we'd be giving it to different people, but we basically give it to the quarterback that has the best year and finishes the strongest.
Okay.
Right? And like Purdy is what, minus 200 or something like that. Lamar's second behind him. And you look at like the two different ways that they're the most valuable players. Like Purdy's got these incredible stats. He does make great plays off platform. So he's like a point guard. I liken him to an elite point guard that can actually score. You know, he's not a game manager. I disagree with Cam on that one. And I disagreed on the Dak thing. But you know, like when it comes to Purdy, he can actually make those plays off schedule. So I don't think he's a game manager. And I think Lamar, when you watch him last night, the reason I'm concerned about the Ravens is, yeah, the defense is really good, right? But I really think Lamar has to do so much right now with Mark Andrews down and now with Keaton Mitchell down that I was worried about the offense had Keaton Mitchell come out of the game healthy. I know they ran for like 200 yards. I looked up at one point, I'm like, wow, they ran for 200 yards. It felt like 98. You know, it just creeps up on you. But I do think against better defenses, and I'm not talking about the run game because Jacksonville's been solid there, but it's hard to make that big adjustment, and they were trying to be more explosive, and now you lose Keaton Mitchell. I do worry about that situation. In that game, I lean San Francisco. I mean, like, and if you're asking me who actually poses the Niners the biggest threat in the Super Bowl, I think that list is short. Like, that list is very short. I could see if Kansas City turns it around in a way that I'm not anticipating. Kansas City could be tough. Sure, Baltimore could give them a game, but I also think Buffalo, we just talked about them. If they slide in the dance, they actually pose, to me, a bigger threat than the other teams in the AFC to beat San Francisco.
So then last one for you, Chris, is the team we're not talking about because, you know, again, we're talking about the big four in the NFC as the Lions got back on track against the Broncos on Saturday night. And we're talking about the Bills now in the same breath as the Ravens and the Dolphins. Obviously, you've got the Chiefs. Who are we not talking about in either conference that you think can make a run here? Chris?
A run. I mean, like, okay, in the NFC asterisk, like, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat San Francisco, you know?
No, I mean, a run makes the Final Four then. I mean, the Bucks, the Rams are two in the NFC right now.
The Rams to me are a team that could get hot. And if the Texans hadn't had all these injuries, and I mean, they're going to get guys back, can they slide in? You know, if they still had Tank Dell, I feel like, hey, look at the way the D-line closed that game out yesterday. That was awesome. Like, they are a dangerous team, but I think the Rams doing what they've done is incredible. And because Matt Stafford, a guy that some of us wrote off a little bit because of his age and, you know, projecting injuries and just where this team was going to be, they are doing this with a bunch of just guys on defense and Aaron Donald, but they're doing it. And I got to give Sean McVay a lot of credit. I did not anticipate them being here. So I think those teams, and then the Bucks, the reason that game's so interesting to me is the Cowboys and the Eagles are watching that game getting ready to go. And they're watching that game and they're saying, like, damn, we might have to, one of us are going to have to go down to Tampa, you know, and play a football game. And I know Tampa probably doesn't match up with the Cowboys so well in a lot of ways, and the Eagles in a lot of ways either. But that's a lot worse than going to Atlanta. And that's a lot worse, I think, than going to New Orleans at this juncture. So, you know, Tampa could make it interesting for somebody one weekend in January.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.